Imagine a ship built not just to sail the seas, but to haunt history. A creation so extravagant, so powerful, that whispers of it still linger today. They called her many things, but to those who saw her, she was less a yacht and more a palace that moved across the water. She was born in the 1930s, in a time when the world balanced between depression and decadence, when the wealthy built floating monuments to prove their place above all others. One of these monuments was Aurelia 1932, the so-called ghost yacht. From the very first glance, Aurelia wasn't like any other yacht. Over 310 feet of flawless white hull, polished teak running the length of her decks, brass railings glowing in the sun. Even at anchor, she looked alive, like a queen surrounded by her court. From above, her decks revealed a symmetry that felt more like art than design. Guests in tuxedos and silk gowns lounged on rattan chairs, sipping champagne, their laughter carried away by the sea breeze. At night, lanterns cast a golden glow over polished wood, and she became a jewel on the black velvet of the ocean. But what truly set her apart wasn't only her looks. Beneath those decks roared her secret, two massive diesel engines, producing more than 3,500 horsepower. In the 1930s, that was unheard of for a private yacht. She could push through the sea at over 20 knots, nearly 40 miles per hour, faster than many warships of her time. Imagine standing on the bridge as the engines thundered below. Would you have had the courage to grip the wheel, knowing you commanded both a palace and a beast? The bow itself was crowned with a gleaming brass figurehead, catching the morning sun like fire. Waves crashed against her sides, spraying into the air as if trying to resist her advance. From the stern, her wake fanned out into a perfect white V, stretching endlessly into the horizon. This wasn't just a ship moving across the sea. This was power dressed in elegance, a contradiction so striking that even today it feels impossible she ever truly existed. And yet, she did. Step inside Aurelia, and you step out of time. The main salon opened into a world of marble floors polished to mirror shine, Art Deco rugs with sharp geometric lines, velvet sofas deep in emerald green and burgundy. A crystal chandelier hung overhead, its light refracting across glasses of champagne. Guests reclined on couches, talking in low voices, while a steward in white gloves carried a silver tray between them. In one corner, a pianist let notes drift from a polished black grand piano, filling the air with soft jazz. The dining hall was equally breathtaking. A long wooden table gleamed under candlelight, set with silver cutlery and crystal candelabras. Waiters in crisp white jackets poured champagne into tall flutes, bubbles dancing in the glow. Every dinner here was a performance. And nearby, the library told a different story. Wooden shelves lined with leather-bound volumes, brass lamps with green shades casting soft pools of light. A gentleman in a tuxedo sat quietly, turning pages, as if the world outside had vanished. The master suite was no less than royal. A king-sized bed under a velvet canopy, a marble fireplace flickering with warm light, and crystal bottles of perfume glistening on the dresser. Curtains billowed gently with the breeze from an open balcony door. The bathroom, a temple of marble and brass. A clawfoot tub stood in the center, steam curling upward as if from a ritual. Every detail spoke of wealth, but also of permanence, as though this place had been built not just for one life, but to outlast generations. Guest cabins, though smaller, were still steeped in luxury. Polished wooden walls, brass sconces glowing, round portholes framing an endless sea. Imagine sitting in a leather chair, silk throw across your lap, watching the waves roll by through that small circle of glass. Even the crew had their quarters, far simpler, wooden bunks stacked tight, but warmed by laughter and the bonds of shared duty. This ship was not only a stage for the rich, but a world sustained by those who worked unseen. Would you rather have been a guest living in velvet, or a sailor sleeping in wood, hearing the heartbeat of the engines through the night? Beneath the elegance, Aurelia's heart beat with steel and fire. The engine room was a cathedral of machinery, pistons, valves, brass gauges glowing faintly under warm lamps. Flywheels spun with relentless rhythm, steam hissed from pipes, and oil shimmered on polished metal. Engineers in dark overalls wiped their brows, their hands blackened with grease as they kept the great beast alive. Every turn of a lever, every adjustment of a gauge, carried the weight of hundreds of lives above. On the bridge, the captain stood at a great wooden wheel, brass spokes shining, eyes fixed on the horizon. Compasses, telegraphs, navigation charts, all instruments of control in a world where one mistake could spell disaster. The radio room crackled with distant voices, operators tuning dials, sending signals into the void. And in the galley, chefs worked with military precision, brass pans clanging, dishes plated with artistry. It was a city afloat, each space alive with purpose. But the sea is never merciful. One night, Aurelia faced her greatest test. The storm came without warning. Clouds black as ink swallowed the stars. The wind roared, waves rose like towers, and rain hammered the teak decks until they glistened like glass. Lightning tore the sky open, illuminating the silhouette of the yacht as it battled the fury of nature. Crewmen in oilskins clung to ropes, shouting orders drowned by thunder. Brass lanterns flickered, water poured across the deck, and every strike of lightning made the chandelier in the salon tremble violently. Passengers huddled inside, champagne glasses shaking in trembling hands. The music had stopped, the laughter was gone. Only the storm remained, a reminder that no matter how rich, no matter how strong, the sea bows to no one. Would you have wanted to be there, to feel the yacht shudder under the might of the waves, or would you rather have watched from the safety of the shore, knowing you'd missed the experience of a lifetime? And then, silence. The storm passed as quickly as it had come. Dawn broke over a horizon washed clean, the first light of the sun painting Aurelia's hull in gold. Seabirds wheeled overhead, the sea turned to glass, and for a moment, it was as though the night's fury had been only a dream. Guests stepped cautiously back onto the decks, gazing at the rainbow that arched behind the stern. The engines hummed once more, steady and unbroken, as the yacht sailed forward into a calm eternity. Stories say Aurelia survived storms that would have shattered lesser ships. Some whisper she was cursed, others that she was blessed, a ghost bound forever to the waves. Was she truly lost to time, sold and broken for scrap, or does she still rest in some hidden harbor, waiting for her next voyage? We may never know. But one thing is certain, ships like Aurelia were not built merely to travel. They were built as symbols. They carried not only people, but ideas, of power, of beauty, of what it meant to rule the sea. And whether she is gone or still sails somewhere unseen, Aurelia remains more than a yacht. She remains a legend. Myth or truth? That's for you to decide. If this journey moved you, don't let it end here. Hit the like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and most of all, subscribe to Ghosts of the Waves. Because beyond every horizon, there are more stories waiting, and the sea always keeps her secrets.